Hi, Eugene here. We're splitting up the Forest of the Dead episodes because we just had so much to talk about. There was also nothing I wanted to lose on this one either, so this was the easiest decision to keep it all and split up into 2 episodes. Here is part 1. Enjoy! Welcome to Who Knew. We are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WhoKnewPodcast. All our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com. You can leave comments there, or email us at whoknewpodcast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram and Twitter account. Tweet at us at whoknewpodcast, and find us on Facebook. Today's episode is Forest of the Dead, episode 9 of season 4. Donna has been saved, but has she survived? Meanwhile, the Doctor and River are on the run from the Vashta Nerada in the library. This episode is written by Stephen Moffat, directed by Euros Lyn. It originally aired on the 7th of June 2008 and was watched by 7.84 million viewers. Hi, this is Eugene. Let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, this is Brian.
Hi, this is Frank.
I am Josh.
Hello, this is Auburn.
Hi, this is Arlene.
And this is Heather via Skype.
Cal is watching the library on her television. She switches channels from River and the Doctor running from the Vashta Nerada to Donna being brought to a mental institution. Donna doesn't understand where she is until Dr. Moon shows up and tells her that he has been helping her since she arrived. They go for a walk, feed ducks, and meet Lee McAvoy. It's all very disjointed for Donna, as if she just jumps from one thing to another without transition until Dr. Moon creates that knowledge. And then she remembers. Donna and Lee go on a date, get married, and have kids. 7 years have gone by and Dr. Moon visits Donna to check in on her. He is happy with how she has integrated and, for a second, phases out and is replaced by the Doctor, who is trying to reach her. Dr. Moon tells her to forget, and she does.
I forgot that at the beginning. The doctor tells her that he's been treating her for 2 years.
And then you remembered.
Yes.
Yeah, I like how the editing of TV and film fits with the narrative that they're trying to tell Donna, like, you did this, and then you're doing that thing, and then you remembered, and then, yeah. I just really like that cuts work with the narrative.
As with the previous episode, you start off right away thinking, what the hell is going on?
Right.
And I also like how we get right into Donna's story instead of like letting it fester a little bit, because the ending of the last episode was so like heart-wrenching with what happened to Donna. And here we see, even if she's not okay, she's at least alive, and
we know what's going on with her.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the doll that her daughter Ella makes doesn't have a face, because the face, I guess, is being used somewhere else.
Oh, thank
so
you.
they don't have that pattern or whatever. So it's just.
And the clay doll was even like all sorts of color. It was kind of like television static. Am I remembering that right? Like
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, what you're saying. Yeah.
Like it wasn't a clearly
Well,
formed.
her kid doesn't have much artistic ability.
Right.
It was a doll that only a mother could enjoy.
It had arms and legs.
And good word choice. I like integrated. You're fully integrated.
And Eugene, the cutting of this, a more recent example, it's Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok uses a kind of similar style, not with the time jumps, but with some fun elements between Doctor Strange and Thor moving to different areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is like an inspiration of that, like the unconscious moving.
Yeah, different planes of things.
I think Catherine Tate really played it well, the confusion of it, and then even the little bit of her remembering, and then you're able to put really together that he gave her those memories in that moment.
I did like what Eugene's saying, because as we're watching it, we don't think anything of it. We cut from one scene to another. That's what we're used to watching. And we fill in any other information we want anyway.
Yeah, because in this instance, it's going linearly because Dr. Moon is instigating these leaps in time and space, because she's, not in proper time and space, but with us, when we see a cut, it's more or less, we fill in the gap like Frank was saying. And I don't know, I never thought about it as a piece of narrative.
Right.
And this probably isn't really relevant to the episode, but I found myself wondering, since time is moving so quickly, what happens? Like, they must get to their deaths sooner rather than later. And then what, do they just reboot?
No, I don't think they ever age. I just think the days just go on.
Because someone actually says, "Do you remember when?" And then you're back there. So
Good point.
that's the whole thing. You just go, "You remember when?" And instead of actually having the fade out for a flashback sequence in the TV show, you go back there.
Yeah.
And I also think literally the Moon program is literally integrating her into the program. And then at the end of this scene, when he says, "I'm so glad that you fully integrated," now he can kind of go on autopilot with her. He doesn't, this like he took the first minute or so of her being in the program to give her 7 years of memory to literally give her a basis to calm down. And then now I think her psyche or whatever it is can live in this world and won't age but won't need to be visited by him all the time.
Right.
Unless she starts to kind of...
Because now she's stable. She's got a husband, she's got a family, she's got a house, she's stable. When she first arrived, her psyche acted as if she was crazy, so he had to lead her through it. A nutter, yeah.
Yeah, and you only become stable when you have children and a husband,
Right.
and that's what makes your life completely stable.
That is what Donna always wanted.
The only time that I remember in my film school stuff is the French film last year at Marienbad, where it's the dream likeness of that cutting from different. It's not matching. I just remembered that.
That's a good pull. Okay. I'm nodding. I'm nodding, everyone who's listening. Do you know what last year Marienbad inspired feature film-wise? It's basically a remake.
No.
12 Monkeys was a remake
That's the other one.
No,
it's La Jetée.
I'm thinking of La Jetée.
La Jetée, yeah.
I actually hate last year Marienbad, come to think of it. They made us watch that thing so many times.
I mean, it was so much like a dream, I fell asleep.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm still nodding, but for different reasons now. Now I'll shake my
Now you're
head.
nodding off.
Yeah. There you go.
Back at the library, the group huddle in a patch of light to rest from Proper Dave chasing them. The Doctor's Sonic is acting up and River hands him hers to use, which he realizes is just an updated version of his own screwdriver. He can't believe he would ever give anyone his screwdriver, and they begin fighting like an old married couple. River says that someday he will trust her completely, but she needs him to trust her now. She leans over and whispers something in his ear. He looks at her in shock and agrees to trust her.
I like the music cue we get here. It's the Doctor's theme.
The haunting,
The
very, very
like
haunting
the
version.
updated version for season 4.
Yeah. It's interesting how she knows what she needs to say to get the Doctor to trust her. She knows. She knows it's going to work. And yeah, she's still sorry. She's like, "I'm very sorry for what I am about to do." Just saying his name, she has to apologize for it. It's interesting. It really adds a level to the mystery of the Doctor. And I hope we never get a name.
Yeah.
Ever, ever, ever get a name, because nothing will live up to
Ralph.
I agree with you.
Watching it, knowing what she whispered this time, I got much more emotional than the first time. The first time I watched it, it was more of a mystery, like, oh, what could she have possibly, to put that look on his face. But now knowing it, I got real choked up when I watched it the other day.
Not now.
No, not now.
Never in public.
Never in public.
Oh, I just said his name was Fred.
Tiberius.
Fred
For
Lord.
everybody, but-
No, it is odd going. You didn't know at the time what could she have said, because his reaction wasn't just shock. It was just.
He's also
it is-
upset.
right, but it's also great to see the Doctor having no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
You
He's
know.
speechless.
This is a bit of a spoiler for later on in the episode, though, because people
Well, hopefully they've already
hopefully
watched,
they've already watched it, yes.
Right.
episode.
We should really do these at the head of the program.
People aren't listening for 2 minutes and then they watch a little bit of the show and then they listen to us and they
Yeah,
watch a
no.
little bit of the show.
Spoilers.
But after the last episode, I was trying to watch this one more as somebody who was new, to it. So it's like, what is it that she could have said, knowing what it was, the name? But it's like, what was it? Because just watching his reaction, it's like, did he know at the time as an actor what she said?
Oh, yeah. Because it's the
yeah,
same
well, it's in
episode.
the script. They
So just-
specifically call it out later.
Yeah, but when
You said my name. We don't know what the
but
name
I've heard,
is. but-
sometimes they just give pages, but I guess it's more American that you get pages of the script and you
Oh.
don't see the whole thing.
And some tells
but
me,
just,
yeah.
No, I
no,
don't
they
think
always
they
have the
would've done that.
read-throughs and they always have it.
He would have known, But it is just interesting, his reaction. Because even later when he says, "You know my name," there's only one time I would tell my name. There's only one name where I
That's how I could.
It's like, wow. I mean, Moffat's really putting a lot of mystery on the name, which, he does. He likes to, everything has to have a mystery. But I kind of like it.
Her whispering to him is also the catalyst of. It's the first time we see the Doctor be the Doctor. Almost immediately after that, he has his moment of shock, and then he jumps right into problem-solving Doctor mode, which we really haven't seen at all in the last episode.
Right, because that's what River was doing in the last episode.
That's a great point.
That's really good observation. I like that.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, guys.
You could almost think of it like, in saying his name, she reminded him of who he was, and then he became the Doctor again.
Yeah. Well, and at that point, all his doubt, all his anxiousness, all his worry went away. Because it's like, I don't know who you are, but it doesn't matter now.
But he doesn't have to worry about her.
Right,
I don't have to worry
that's
about
one
her.
thing I don't have to worry about anymore, because he was obviously like, who the frig are you
Right.
for the whole first episode.
I'm still thinking, are you the Master? Because the Master would know his name. But anyway.
The master, a woman, right?
Silly.
The Doctor deduces that the interference to his screwdriver is a signal from the moon, which Lux tells him is the Doctor Moon, a program that maintains and protects the computer core of the planet. The Doctor taps into the interference and they see Donna for a moment. Anita, one of the group, interrupts saying she has two shadows. Everyone dons on their helmets and the Doctor realizes Proper Dave is now among them. They run again.
I think it's pertinent to mention that when the Doctor sees Donna, it's that moment from the very beginning of the episode.
Yes.
When he appeared to her.
Yeah, we're again paralleling the beginning of the first episode where we're seeing the mirror. We're seeing one thing from two different sides. So it's like it's paralleling.
Yeah, that's true. So in the first episode, it was Cal, and this episode, it's Donna.
It's Donna, yeah.
The first time I watched it, I did not get that it was Dr. Moon.
Oh, I love
I know
Dr.
it was
Moon.
a Dr. Moon. I was like, okay, why they called that? Well, it's to take care of that, but they didn't take care of the core and stuff. But I just did not, for some reason, relate Dr. Moon to Dr. Moon.
I did, because I remember thinking about his name a lot, like, oh, that's interesting, or being sarcastic. Oh, they cast a bald guy as Dr. Moon because his head looks like the moon. So.
Did you notice his tie was very stellar? So it had a bunch of like,
No, I didn't.
Stars and moon.
Did it
things?
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Good
another-
on your wardrobe.
Anita's performance when she realizes she has two
Yeah.
shadows is
Anita's great.
amazing.
Yeah, Anita's really, really
Either
good.
all the actors were really good, or they had a really good eye drop
Yeah.
dispenser on the set. Everyone was crying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everyone always was able to produce a single tear.
Yeah, that's-
just
yeah.
at the right moment.
But I enjoyed how her moment and realization of I'm pretty much dead
Yeah.
is very like subdued. She's like, guys, I want to warn you, but I have two shadows. And she's not like, I have two shadows. There's like a difference. And I like that they made that choice.
And River, talking to her and going, okay, stay calm. She goes, okay, I know I'm going to die. I think a tears are
Appropriate.
for this. This is fine. I'm dealing with this.
And I'm dealing it pretty well for
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's good.
And don't worry, you're going to live 5 minutes longer than you think.
Or 10 minutes.
I'm sorry.
And then the doctor figures out that Proper Dave is now in the room with them. And I feel like it's very much like Girl in the Fireplace, where he's like, there are two ticking
Yes.
sounds.
Right.
But that clock is broken. So he goes, if you said there are 5, why are there 6 bodies in this room? I love that.
And now I catch it every time, rewatching it.
Yeah.
It's like, there he is.
Nothing like a good math joke.
That doesn't add up.
I said a good math joke.
That's when I said it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we just got done talking about this really serious, situation with Anita, and then it ends with like this cartoonish, oh, the villain's right next to us, so we
Yeah.
gotta run again. But I think they handle it really well, like those
Yeah, they
two
don't,
worlds.
they don't play it for the laugh. They don't play
Right.
it for the Scooby-Doo moment.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, how did she run with them if she's got two shadows? But they put the suit on her. Okay.
That's funny. Another
She has the
Scooby-Doo.
two shadows, so she isn't dead yet. She isn't
Yeah,
converted
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
They're just there.
I don't know if you've
And
noticed.
that I kind of justify. I mean, I don't know if anybody considers that to be like, why didn't they just eat her right away? The doctor does make a line, it might even be in the previous episode, where he says, there's not that many of them. Yeah, the hot spot that he found, he's like, well, there's not that many of them. They'll attack when they have more. So I kind of feel like
That's
those
true.
kind of maybe latched onto Anita and just waited.
And did you guys notice how they shot around the two shadows? Like, you could see when it was definite. There was like an effect shot that was good, but when they would cut to other times, like River would be in front of that spot, or a chair would be, or something like that. It was done well.
I'm not a real fan of the way they do the shadows.
You mean with the effects? Or
Yeah, the
cutting?
effects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
it
effects.
didn't look real, but
I mean, they don't focus on it, so.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't detract from the episode, but it's like,
but I guess I found it interesting when they cheated it, that if you actually were looking in that spot, there ain't no other shadow there.
I like that, in so early on, we're beginning to get some of the answers to what is going on.
Yeah.
And so when we find out about Dr. Moon, because I remember the first time watching this episode and they explained Dr. Moon is the computer that controls the viruses and gets all that kind of stuff. It's like, Dr. Moon, Moffat, you're good. I mean, it's just like, well, that was a satisfying answer to a mystery. Thank you, Stephen.
Because we were wondering if he's the villain or not.
Yeah. Cal has been watching this on her television and changes channels to watch Donna, who sees a veiled figure leaving a note for her that reads, "The world is wrong. Meet tomorrow at the park." Donna and the kids are now at the park. Donna approaches a veiled woman and tells her that she got her note the previous night. The woman tells her that she just left the note moments ago. Time moves like in a dream here. This world is not real. Donna wonders how this woman knows her, and she responds that they met in the library and she wants to return the kindness Donna showed her. She is Miss Evangelista.
Normally, this is like stereotypical black veiled woman in Victorian dress. Totally works.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it explains very quickly that this is something kind of wrong, and we don't
Out
need
of
much.
place.
Yeah, we don't need much explanation. Just her wardrobe alone sells it.
Anyone ominously standing outside a window, no matter what they look like, is step one.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I'll bring up the music is different here. It's very much like before we had all this orchestral stuff, and then now we have this feels artificial because it's kind of reversed and clipped. And I like that it's again another visual clue, and then now an auditorial
it
clue.
plays backwards.
Yes.
Like in that last moment of a cut. But off of the music, when Mr. Lux says, "Oh, that's just a Dr. Moon," earlier, there's this like little trill of music right underneath it that if you
Revelation.
know. Yeah.
I don't remember what I was going to say is I can't help it now, but now I see that costume and that veil, and there's just a part of me that's like, is that a lizard woman under there?
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like,
good.
did they write? Is the same person writing the episodes? Is there?
He becomes the head writer
Yeah.
when she's a character.
So I think he just likes the veiled Victorian look.
Yeah. Well, I also kind of wonder, is it literally the same costume and they're just reusing the costume?
Could be.
I mean, that veil seems very, very dark in this. Like,
Because they had to.
But they
yeah,
could
but
just replace the veil.
Yeah. Because I look at that and I'm like, that's Vashta.
But to go off of
But Vashta Nerada.
Is that her name? Vashta?
Look, it all comes around.
I don't know.
I'm trying to be positive. We haven't gotten there yet.
But to go back about the dresses being reused, Donna's wedding dress is the same wedding dress from The Runaway Bride.
But it's not Lawns.
It's not what?
Lawns.
Oh, right.
No, but it is with an L. Lee.
Yeah.
She has a type.
Yeah.
The silent type that doesn't speak.
That's all men's type.
The doctor stops to talk to the Vashta Nerada inhabiting Proper Dave, asking why they came to the library. They say that they hatched here and that the books are their forest. Other Dave pleads for the doctor to go when the doctor realizes Other Dave has also died. He escapes through a trap door.
Of course, he's always near a door.
I got a couple things with this scene, though. One, the doctor is a bit slow.
Yeah, but he's in like realization mode, and this is a moment too where he does do a lot, where he's proud of himself for thinking of things, and
Yeah, but the evil thing is approaching you slowly but surely.
Yeah.
You're not gonna. I mean.
Oh, but he was made-
it's a bunch of books. You're not around a forest. You're around a bunch of books. No, you're not around a forest. You're around a bunch of books. It's like Doctor.
What do trees have to do with books?
Exactly. And I guess that's only on repeat viewings, but it is just kind of like.
no, but I think when you know what's going on, it seems really repetitive. But when you don't,
I don't know. I feel like the Doctor in these 2 episodes is just slower for the. I just think the storyline. They just made it
Especially
takes
since-
him a while to come around.
come around.
Especially
yeah.
since he knows what the Vashta Nerada are and what they do, so why wouldn't he think this was, But I guess he had that piece of information that, but they don't usually do this.
Yeah, and I mean, he actually literally is like, you aren't around a forest, you're around books.
Yeah.
And even that,
I
it
remember-
takes him another round of that
Yeah.
before he's like, oh.
And he's usually in a rush and trying to get things done, and he's usually running. He's not running in this episode.
That's right.
So it's very different from what the Doctor's character is like. And I think what it is, it's River Song just throws a wrench into the
Right.
whole-
Yeah.
I mean, he does tell, Vashta Nerada to use Dave. That's the voice that you're hearing is the person who was in there. You can connect to that and talk to me. So he is thinking. But again, that one was the same thing that I felt with Donna. It was like in the last episode, she was saying, well, why don't you know me? And what happens to me? And it's meant as a foreshadowing. It's meant for something else other than the dialogue.
It's a bit forced.
And this is a little bit similar to that in that you're just putting it in there. You're overwriting this part.
Yeah. You got to make sure the kids
Right.
follow along. I think that's what he's doing at this
And
point.
it could be maybe now that's even better because people go, well, what do books have to do with trees? Because everything's all downloaded and they read it on Kindle and things like that.
Oh my god. He's also really slow in this scene because he somehow doesn't notice that the Dave that hasn't been eaten yet, allegedly, keeps repeating himself.
Yes.
Which in the exact same tone of voice. So.
Yeah. He does it 3 times. I just in this scene, every time I watch it, I just keep thinking, Dave's not here, man.
And I keep thinking, these are the Daves I knew. But when the Doctor exits through that, let's say, trapdoor
Why is there
elevator
a
thing,
trapdoor there?
what is that doing there? But it reminded me of Empire Strikes Back, because it cuts to that hazy.
That's an exhaust port, so it's okay.
But I'm saying it reminds me of that, and I was like, "Where's the Millennium Falcon to come up and get him?"
Yeah, it works so much better with Christopher Eccleston when he was, standing in front of the elevator and opens and he escapes that way. He just steps back.
because it's
it's the
played
same
for
type of thing.
comedy,
Right.
If it was like a dumb waiter or something that you put books on.
or
Because it opens to nothing. He just
Yeah,
falls.
it's not even a door.
And then he starts crawling along. I think
Like the
construction
I-beam?
beam. And
Yeah.
Well, then they cut to Cal, and she kind of
Smiling.
laughs.
Yeah.
The way I kind of interpreted that was because I laughed because it was so silly and because it was making fun of it like an action movie, and then she laughed, and I was like, oh, maybe that's what they're doing is they're turning this into like a TV show for her.
Yeah, and I had that
It
note.
does,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like a cliched TV show
Yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
With thrilling soundtrack. too.
Yes. There's a lot of really action-oriented music over them figuring stuff out. I noticed in this episode, they're not running all that much, but they're doing a lot of thinking. And when they're thinking and getting excited about thinking, they're playing music like they're running away from a monster. So I thought it was very effective.
In the last episode, at the very end, they're running, but they don't have a lot of room, and it's all that fake running that you have 2 feet, and you have to run like you're sprinting, and it just looks really bad. So I think that's why they didn't put a lot of running in there.
They want you to think that they're running a lot because they keep talking about running.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the exteriors a little bit before this scene where we see them running
composites,
through the
those things?
hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the best, but it was still fun. They were trying.
It was nice to see.
Scooby-Doo.
A little bit, yeah. But it was nice to see the sense of scale.
Yes.
Which reminded me of more of Empire Strikes Back when they're in Bespin. Yeah. And that kind of, they put in with a little map work around them and they're running along big corridors.
Or Cloud City, as some call it.
Evangelista wanted Donna to see the truth and thought the park was the easiest place for that. She tells Donna to look at the children. Donna looks, and all the children are the same boy and girl, even her own. Her children were never really alive, just computer simulations. Donna pulls off the veil to reveal a disfigured Evangelista, the result of a computer glitch during download.
When I watched this for the first time with my nephew, he screamed.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, also too,
Excellent.
it was also the reaction of Donna and the girl
Cal.
made it that much
Yeah.
more scarier. And I thought that if a kid was watching this, it would be scary.
I mean, it didn't help that we just watched The Ring previous to this. Just kidding.
Oh.
Did they scream at Evangelista's face or at
Yeah,
the
at the
multiple
face,
kids?
yeah.
Okay.
So
And
I
also,
d-
did you notice on repeat viewings that you never really see the other kids except for brief flashes, like a red hat will fly or run under the screen, and then the boy's jacket goes up this So it's like you don't see the other kids,
Right.
but every time you do see something, they're copies.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great touch.
Good. And I think this is where, if you are a parent and you're watching this, it must be a horrifying. Like Catherine Tate plays it so well, but just that idea, I think, is almost more horrifying than anything that's happening in the episode.
I don't like kids, but the way she plays it makes me terrified.
That's what I mean.
It does kind of sort of, I mean, I know why they did it, but it does kind of sort of bug me how it's like, oh, there was a glitch in your download and it made you smart and ugly. That bugs me.
Why?
Because
Because it's
he even
poignant?
points it out.
Yeah,
Well,
and then
yeah.
she says it afterwards. I'm the best combination to being smart. Like
No,
I'm-
for people to believe me.
For people to believe me.
The line I wrote it down is, in order to see absolute truth, you need to be brilliant and unloved.
And unloved, and because she's ugly, she's unloved. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh,
Yeah.
that's me.
It's a little too far.
Well, and she's been there for a half hour
Yeah, I was gonna say half hour.
and hasn't found love yet. I mean,
But how long has she been there in her own mind? Now she's aware because she is very different than anybody else because
She's not integrated.
she
So-
died and got
Yeah.
saved. So everybody else, hadn't gotten to that point. She was just downloaded from there and quickly to try and save her and didn't know how to do it. So she came out wrong. And I wish they would have. Having that disfigured is fine because that shows,
Yeah.
other things went wrong. But having the implication of that being ugly and that's why she's smart.
I think it's a good idea. It's just a poor choice of words
Yes.
because the fact is I'm not distracted by any emotionally romantic feelings, and I can just pursue knowledge and intellect unencumbered. But to choose the words unloved, meaning that's just
It's
derogatory.
because the only way you can be smart is if you don't have a husband and have
Right.
children.
Exactly.
Again, harping on that same idea.
No.
The only way you're complete is if you have a husband and children.
Right.
And the only way a woman can be smart is if she doesn't have them. So
Well, it's they didn't say smart though. It's truth because there are many people who are in denial about their kids, or they're in denial because of their kids, and emotion gets in the way of absolute truth.
Is she alone unloved because does Dr. Moon know she's there? Because Dr. Moon seems to be the one that's like setting these people up to help them forget their current state.
She's outside.
She's
so
outside.
she's outside,
Yeah,
right?
She's
So
alone. She's not integrated.
Yes.
so I don't think Dr. Moon knows. It's only
Right.
Cal who.
So I
think
think
even
that's the point. It's not that she hasn't been able to find a mate or find someone to love her. It's that she's outside of this whole sphere. But I agree, Josh. Like maybe they could have chosen a different word than
It's just-
unloved.
that's-
Just
it's
write
the-
it. Write a couple lines differently.
Yeah.
Because it really does kind of tie
'Cause
to.
I do think the idea.
Gee, you're pretty and stupid.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
that's-
you're smart and ugly.
Yeah, I mean, basically they flip the coin, which
Yeah.
is, good writing in an essence. But
yes.
you know.
And also, I mean, like you said, I mean, your nephew had a great shock value moment from the
Yeah.
veil, so it's worth it for that. But don't.
Being the Salvador Dali painting isn't bad because it does add that shock value. It's
For
what
the
they said
record,
afterwards.
though, She was unloved when she was beautiful too.
That's a good point. I like that.
That is true.
Well, she was stupid.
Stupid people can find love.
There are a lot of
Oh,
stupid
yeah.
people walking
that right,
around.
Frank?
Yeah. And see.
Why is everyone laughing?
No, I was happy. So if he's plankton, what does that make you?
But I'm wondering, was that analogy to the doctor? He thinks he knows it all and he can see the truth because he's brilliant and he has
But
nobody to travels with because he's unloved. Or he doesn't love because that's too much for him.
Or the
so
opposite.
Is it the idea of to see the absolute truth, is to parallel that of the doctor.
I almost think the opposite because love gets in his way of seeing true truth.
Seen through truth.
Oh, it's
True,
Lee.
true truth.
true
Not,
truth.
yeah, I was gonna see true truth.
What is this, Cloud
When I
Atlas?
go to my
Jeez.
door.
You mean
Well, you got a little bit of a stammer there.
Take that.
I really like the
Auburn
way.
wishes.
no comment.
But
I
I just
really-
think,
Like watching a TV show where you can weirdly hear me sometimes.
but is that the idea that emotion clouds judgment
Yeah.
and emotion, any emotion, love being what they wrote,
Yeah.
get you away from the truth because you're going to have that bias.
Yeah, I just 'cause that one just kind of irritates me because it's like, and you only need to change like a sentence or two, and then it would be fine.
Anita asks River about the Doctor, and she describes a different version of the Doctor that we know, a later incarnation.
He has a really big chin.
Yes, he does. The doctor stops her talking about him, and Anita admits she knows she is already dead and that his secrets are safe with her. The doctor reacts to the word safe. People say safe, not saved. The message they received 100 years ago was literal. The people were saved, downloaded in the system, waiting to be transported somewhere.
Over the rain. No.
We don't have the rights for that.
Watching this, I mean, when I watched it earlier, it still confused me in a good way. Like, I think they explained it as well as they could have, but it was still what is going on? Like, it did take me a while to make that correlation, even when they spelled it out. But that's fine because it keeps me thinking as things go on.
Mm-hmm. Between safe and saved.
Yeah, like I wasn't getting what he was getting, but I knew he was getting something, and I was gonna find it out at some point. So
I liked it, but I don't like that just by choosing that word for Anita to speak at that point solved everything.
It also made me feel really bad for Anita because it was instantly like, shut up, shut up, shut
Yeah.
up. I just want nothing. And she's like, oh, well, that was my last moment to live, so okay.
I got 5 minutes and then I'm out of here.
well, she did that. Anita saved the day.
And she is asking for trust, for hope, for something that the doctor got from when River told him something. She goes, I wanted that. I need that trust. I need that hope. Wait a minute. I just realized something. Go away. I'm epiphany
Yeah, it's like
now.
she's giving this award-winning performance almost, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're done.
But that's the thing. She's doing a really, really good job. And at this point, she's just an 80-yard voice. It's like they really hired really good people for this episode.
You don't think she was in that outfit?
She could be, but
she could also
for all
not be.
intents and purposes,
Right, yeah.
to us as a viewer, that could have been 80-yard.
So I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler, but
Go ahead. We've done many.
Yeah.
well, we've done the lizards and everything, but watching this, like the episodes back to back, I was watching it and I really liked River throughout the whole episode, and I didn't really like her very much later on in certain episodes, and then the progression, it dawned on me because she is the older version, more mature already, like the end of River, because we know this is where, again, spoiler, we know this is where she ends. So this is the more mature, more like stable, more, Matt Smith's is not fun. Sometimes she's not fun. And then the doctor's the one that's kind of, he's silly and young and not the doctor she knows. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was a nice way of portraying it.
Agreed.
Oh, sorry. And it goes back to what I was saying in the first episode. What I liked about this, it's not retconning because they did this episode first before all those later episodes where River Song is younger and meeting the doctor and getting to know the doctor for the first time. So it just gives me chills that they were able to pull this off and then bring River Song back and us watch her whole story in reverse. Or I still don't really understand it. Like, you can show me all the River Song flow charts that you want, and I still really won't understand it, but it's cool nonetheless.
Because it is, spoiler that we're talking about with what's coming up with River Song, but it's also not because she told us she's had all these adventures with the doctor. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, we get to see it. But it's one of those weird spoilers that really doesn't spoil it.
Yeah.
I did want to say real quick, when you were talking about not liking River, for me, there are some River episodes that I do not like, but I always like River. I don't think there's ever been an episode where I haven't enjoyed a scene with River, even if the episode is not good.
And that might be it. It might be the fact that I don't really like the episode, and then I didn't feel invested in River.
Yeah.
For the last episode, when we were talking about this, that pretty much everybody here loves Alex, the actress, and thinks she does great with River, and it was the writing that a lot of people didn't like for other episodes. It's kind of like they know their character, and she does the character really well. But it's like sometimes it's the writing or the story that lets it down, but we think that she does really well with this character.
Evangelista tells Donna that her physical form is stored in the library as an energy signature. Donna asks who created this world. Cal presses a button on the remote, causing Donna's daughter to hurt her knee, distracting her. Evangelista reminds Donna her kids aren't real. Donna argues they are real and takes her kids home. Cal starts yelling at her TV, and her father comes over. She yells at him and presses another button, and he disappears. Dr. Moon tries to comfort her, but she makes him disappear too.
I love when Donna realizes that this world isn't real. But I've been dieting. She delivers that well, and I would feel the same way.
Yeah, it's nice that all this heavy stuff that we're being given, and then that moment of levity is very welcomed.
Yes. But I didn't know, it's like having her dad disappear and Dr. Moon disappear. It was odd because you feel like, are they real? Is any of this real?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does seem like it kind of comes out of nowhere, but if you can't rationalize it.
Yeah, once you
think
know
about
what's going on, it makes more sense. I mean, she just turned them off for the moment or whatever. But
Yeah.
when you don't know what's going on, it's like, what the?
Yeah.
And it was like her dad was just a computer program, is what I'm taking.
Yes, he
Yeah,
he
how I
was.
took it.
That's
Yeah.
how I
But I
took
thought
it.
Dr.
He's-
Moon was more than that.
He's
That's
the
why
Dr.
that kind
Moon.
of
Yeah,
shocked
he
me.
is. He'll.
But that's
he's-
what shocked me, going, he's gone too.
Yeah, she shut him off.
She
See, I didn't get that he
she
shut him off.
integrated herself
She
herself.
blocked him. You know, she
Yeah, she blocked the connection.
She
but
blocked the
I
connection,
didn't get that
yeah.
at the time. Going, was he just a computer part of computer program?
and I think it's just because she's freaking out because
Yeah, her whole world is.
yeah.
I
don't
wonder how
wanna
many.
I don't want to say because we haven't gotten there yet.
I wonder how many kids watching that scene like saw her turn off her dad and then just slowly looked at their parents, picked up the remote and got really disappointed a second later. No.
But I like how she immediately regrets doing it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, as much as we fantasize about doing that when we're young, I think we would immediately regret it as well.
Just like Home Alone.
Yes.
Also made me think of the cornfield from Twilight Zone.
Mm.
Remember the episode where
I can't remember that one.
Billy
Oh,
Murray was a
Billy
little kid,
creepy.
Yeah.
and when he get upset at somebody, they go to the
Oh.
cornfield rather than killing them.
I remember that one from the movie when they made
We
it
did
different.
it, yeah.
Fine, I'm old.
No, I'm just saying. Hey, I used to watch I Love Lucy all the time. Not when it was live.
That's Dr. Moon at this point also says, I think this is part. You've forgotten. You're the one who saved all these people.
Yeah.
Just telling about it. So
It is nice on repeat viewings. You
Yeah.
can see
that he's trying.
Dr. Moon is like reinforcing the motivation of Cal.
Yeah, like once you hear what Mr. Luck says later on in this episode, what he said just then, it's a good thing. Like they're trying to take care of her.
So does Cal's tantrum, that is what initiates the self-destruct? Because she's
Yes.
like throwing a tantrum, and so the whole, right? Like,
Right.
because she's
Yeah, which
the
is the next part that we're
computer
gonna-
system that's keeping the library. Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure on that either.
cool. Yeah, I mean, like this whole other world that Cal lives in that was created is like one of those mysteries in these two episodes that I don't know if it keeps you, as a viewer, keeps you on your toes or just keeps you engaged because it's like nonstop, and it's almost like too many mysteries. But
And that's an interesting part when you watch it again with Dr. Moon, because he's trying to get her to remember. It's like she thinks she's just a little girl, that's her dad, they're going to eat and all that. But he keeps going, the last episode, he says, everything you know is a lie. This world isn't
So he
real.
flips
You're
it.
going to have a hard time with this, but you have to remember, you're the only one who can save these people. The shadows are real. And he's trying to get her to
Right.
remember because she had
Right.
forgotten what's going on. And so during all this, she's freaking out because she's starting to remember. And I could just imagine you're remembering two different lives. Merge those two. And it's like, no, this is all wrong. Something is really weird.
And if you don't
So-
calm down, all 4,122 people are going to die.
And it's the 4,000 people, the 4,000 files that's screwing her up. It's too much. It wasn't built for that, so it's chaotic, and that's why when there's no one in the library, Dr. Moon is there saying, no, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, because he's the program trying to calm her down and make her be okay. But then when people show up in the library and are in trouble, now he's switched to, you have to remember because you can save these people. And it's all because the computer's not functioning properly because it's got too much stuff in it.
Like not enough RAM.
Yeah.
When you're running too many programs.
All those minds. just,
All those minds, yeah.
Feels like me.
Which the doctor says is basically what's going on in his head all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like the spinny wheel of death on your Mac.
Yes.
Alarms blare around the doctor as an auto-destruct is initiated due to Cal's mood. Lux says they need to stop it, and they must get to the main computer at the core of the planet where he will show them Cal. They descend on a gravity platform. Meanwhile, Donna and her kids arrive home and she puts them to bed. They worry that they don't exist, and then they disappear.
Donna's scream is awful. It just tears at you. She does that.
Like the previous episode when she's in pain beaming out.
I bet you that a lot of parents who watch the episode, that sequence with the kids in the bedroom is heart-wrenching for them.
Well, it's also terrifying because little kids with British accents are horrifying.
Always
It's
asking if
just, my goodness.
always asking if I'm their mommy.
Sometimes it's like you're not here, Mommy. Oh my God, I wouldn't want to be near you either.
Oh, stop that.
This was where I was starting to feel the Twilight Zone, just the mood of it with the whole like dream world with the kids, but this is because we know it's coming, like we know that they're not long for this episode. But yeah, this was definitely like that emotional turmoil with Twilight Zone. Like you're waiting for that twist, that's whatever we're gonna discover. Yeah.
And Evangelista had told her, you don't believe it anymore, and that's the only thing that was
Yeah.
keeping the kids. They're
Right,
going to lose
right.
them soon, and so she
And then
knows
the
it.
kid. What's ironic is the kids actually convince her,
Right.
which is the kids are her subconscious. Oh, no.
Right.
Very smart, Stephen Moffat.
She had just said that line about how, the kids are saying when you close your eyes, it's like we're not there. And then she says, well, then I'll never close my eyes again. And then they disappear, and it was just ripped me
Yes.
apart.
Well,
And they have
she
to-
shouldn't have blinked.
That's right.
That's what happens when you blink. Bad
Don't
things
blink.
happen.
Never blink.
This episode brought to you by
Blink and
Bausch
they're
and
dead.
Lomb.
Maybe she missed that episode, okay?
That ends part 1 of our discussion of Forest of the Dead. Part 2 is coming up where we continue this fun discussion. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time when the future becomes the present.
You just listened to an episode of Who Knew Podcast.
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook at The Universe Explodes.
All our episodes are engineered by me, Auburn.
Find him at auburnbinkley.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/whoknewpodcast.
Visit our Facebook page.
Please leave comments, reviews, and click like to help support Who Knew Podcast.
Also, listen to us on your Amazon Echo by enabling a podcast skill.
All of our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who.
The longest running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell.
Sydney Newman.
Verity Lambert.
Ron Grainer.
And all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain. Thank you. Frank
Hey, who turned out the
or
lights?
Brian.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
Sounds good. Frank?
Frank is talking now, so you be quiet, because I am talking. And this is how I'm going to talk.
Good.
Josh is ghosting.
Wait, how's that any different?
Wait.
How's my voice sound?
Like
Can you go a little more Kathleen Turner with your voice?
Oh, I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, I'm just teasing.
Kathleen Turner and Romancing the Stone, not on Friends.
Okay.
That's loud.
Yeah, let's take that after that.
Usually it doesn't get that low.
By the airport.
It's Harrison Ford.
We're John Travolta.
Heather?
What?
Oh, I thought you
You
were.
look really still, so we thought you were frozen.
No, I thought you had something to say. Sorry.
That's not what happened. What is the old Doctor that you were mentioning just a second ago?
It's the haunting choir.
Oh.
And then now it's orchestral.
That's not good.
Shut up.